Good morning. Welcome to Niagara College's teaching brewery. Today is our first day of having our fourth termers back into their final term. And we're going to do a quick little tour through the brewery so you can see what everybody's up to. So like I said, we have our fourth termers in today. We have two of the project brews being started. So on this side, we've got Kevin Chow. He's making a Hefeweizen. I think he's going to be flavoring it with some unique spice. Down the aisle here, we have Yu Yu, who's actually making a pretty creative beer today. He's doing an oyster stout that's going to be aged in a barrel. So it's going to be pretty cool when he comes up with that. As you can see, these are what we call our pilot brewing systems. This is primarily for the students to work on their own projects. Throughout the whole process, they'll get their mash on the go, eventually start straining off the sweet wort, eventually goes through a heat exchanger into their fermenter, which they're currently getting ready for their brew. So right now they're doing what they call a CIP, cleaning in place, caustic, and a sanitizing rinse afterwards.
Right, Brad.
Yeah. On this side, we've got our main craft side. So typically when the students are working on the craft side, they're really working more on a brew system that's reminiscent of what you would see in a typical craft brewery. With the fourth termers, we don't actually brew so much, but rather run through some brewery management processes. So much larger fermenters. We also have guys getting ready to do some canning on our small canning system, so they're getting some Pilsner ready for canning. It's a nice simple canner, but it does the job. And George, our head brewer, he's getting ready for some filtration. Come on this way. So for the students, we've got 20 small fermenters that they can utilize. Everything's jacketed with glycol so they can control the temperature of their fermentation. Come to the walk-in cooler briefly. Obviously, where the beer is being stored, but we also keep all of our yeast and our hops in here. One of the things I do like to highlight, you'll see hops with red bins or red lids. Those are actually hops grown here at Niagara College. Our third term students are actually using those hops to make a Ontario ingredient only beer. In the brewery, not only do we have our canner, but we have a bottling system as well, so we show students how to utilize that. What you're seeing here looks a little messy, but for the most part, this is what we refer to as base malt. So we order base malt in a pallet at a time. Most recipes will have 50 to 80% of their recipe will be a base malt. And this is where we keep our specialty malts. And because we want students to really get into what they're doing and home brewing, and essentially we want them to be mad scientists when they're on their spare time brewing, so we actually allow students to have access for free to our specialty malts so they can play with it as they see fit. And then last, and no brewery is complete without a keg washer, because, well, if you don't have a keg washer, you can't really manage kegs very well. So that, in a nutshell, is the teaching brewery. And we're very excited to have our students back.